Welcome to Destination Central. I'm Aimee Forrest, and this week we are showcasing part 2 of our Health and Wellbeing show. Now, these shows are designed to create awareness for both you and your family around the services and support available throughout our region. So let's take a look at who we're off to see today. We start off with learning how you can get involved with Buddy Day. We discover the support available from the Problem Gambling Foundation, a unique learning technique with Conductive Education Pre School. Then after the break we find out about the services available at Epilepsy NZ and take a look at Spectrum Care. Well, as you can see, we've got a busy day ahead of us, so let's let the show begin. New Zealand Buddy Day is coming up on Friday 14th of November and is to help raise awareness for the role adults play in preventing child abuse. One Hamilton business, Convex Plastics, played a major role in the creation of this campaign and is urging other businesses to get involved. Hi Owen, how are you?
How are you?
Let's go and have a chat about Buddy Day. Now tell me, how did you first get involved with Buddy Day and why did you get involved?
We started off in, I believe, 2012, something like that. Janine came and visited us with a cardboard cutout of a small doll about yay high and said, I've been given your name as someone who can make things happen for us. And I go, well, I'm a packaging company, I'm an innovative packaging solution, blah, blah. And she goes, no, I want a little doll about this big because Buddy Day is about something we're going to launch for making awareness of child abuse. I go, well, I don't know how I can help you. But I had a young cadet and he was in the office next door to me and I said, Tom, come in here and see if we could help. How could we make something like this for Janine? And Tom came up with the idea of cutting them out of core flute. So we cut a little doll out of core flute and the rest is history. Yep. We also went away and said, how do we find enough core flute to make 300 little buddies? And I rang a friend of mine who has a company that has core flute and he said, yeah, this could touch my life, I'll help you. And then we talked to Les Roa from Longfield Engineering and said, look, cutting these out is just a nightmare. And it's really hard and we're doing it with scissors and it's just not working. He said, I've got a water jet cutter, I can cut them all out for you in a matter of no time at all. And we said, right. And he said, child abuse in my life has been a critical part and I'd really like to help. And then he just about shed a tear and I'm going, Jesus, okay, we could make this happen, and the rest is history.
And what will you be getting up to this year?
Yes, on the day, every year we usually have a breakfast, which is Child Matters put on the breakfast at the Wintec, and so we take a team of us down and have breakfast there, and then that day happens to be close to the birthday of one of our founding directors, and so we'll take 10 of us to lunch at Iguanas usually and take our 10 little buddies and walk down the street and make dialogue and with anybody who wants to ask.
Now tell me, why should other businesses get involved with Buddy Day?
I think other businesses need to be involved because this is an issue that's usually buried. It's an issue that people don't want to talk about, and this whole campaign is about getting people to make discussion and make dialogue, and the more people we can involved in this by making dialogue and making them talk about the issues they've had or making them aware of where child abuse could be happening. You know, I got a really strong view. We've got to give our kids the most safe environment to start with because as they get out in the world, it's not as safe as it could be, and it should be safe when they're young. So the more people that can make dialogue, the better off we are. And
how many of your staff normally get involved?
I'm running a business here that's 24 hours a day, sort of 6 days a week, so we're running around the clock. I can't take a lot of people away from the business. That would be a bit detrimental to our business, but we can involve people by building buddies. So we will dress up, cut out, take an involvement. So the laboratory team, I've got 5 people in the laboratory, they make a buddy. The admin team, they'll make a buddy. My engineers will make a buddy. Potentially the printers usually make a buddy, so they dress them up in you know, young apprentice printing clothes. So they'll all have an involvement. And they all get to make some dialogue amongst themselves and their families and their communities. So.
And what do your employees think about the initiative?
Initially, the employees thought it was quite strange. Yeah, we're tending to be a packaging company, and we want to just get on and make packaging and do the things we do. As a printing business, you know, taking the buddies, walking through the factory, you got a lot of strange discussions going on. Why are we doing this? What on earth's going on? You know, shouldn't we be focusing on efficiencies and productivity? But as time went on, when we talked about what the initiative was, it touched the lives of so many people that they really wanted to be part of it and do something about it.
Thanks, Owen. What an amazing cause to support, and all the best for this year's Buddy Day. Anyone can get involved with Buddy Day. It's free to enter. All you have to do is register your interest on buddyday.org.nz. So get involved, and remember, it takes a whole community to raise a child. After the break, we take a look at the Problem Gambling Foundation and the Conductive Education Pre School. Join us then. The Problem Gambling Foundation is a non-profit organisation providing free, professional and confidential counselling services for those affected by harmful gambling. Let's have a chat to Edu and find out more. Hi Edu, lovely to meet you. Now, first of all, tell me, what is the overall mission of the Problem Gambling Foundation?
Our mission is to build healthier communities together, free from gambling harm.
Okay, so can you talk us through the services that you provide?
Well, we've got a range of services that we support our communities with. Firstly, we provide private, confidential counselling and support services throughout New Zealand. We also have a public health team that work within communities to raise awareness of public health and gambling harm within our communities. We have our Asian Family Services team who work with their Asian communities in multiple Asian languages, and we also have our Pacifica team, Mapu Maya, who work within their Pacifica communities also.
And these services are also for family members and friends who are affected?
Yes, that's correct. We provide free, professional and confidential counselling to any person in New Zealand, and whether they be the gambler or affected others, so that could mean family members, it could mean friends, it could mean co-workers or any other person impacted by an individual's gambling. Okay,
so how does the Problem Gambling Foundation work within the community to reduce the effects of gambling?
Our public health team work well in communities, and they do this in many ways. They could, for instance, work by providing stalls within community events, and what they're looking at doing is raising awareness of problem gambling within communities, but also trying to reduce the gambling risk. So other ways that they can do that within communities is to really empower our communities to have a voice within councils, and for instance our councils have gambling policy reviews every 3 years, and that's a great opportunity for our communities to have a voice to try and reduce the amount of gambling harm by having less pokie machines in the community, less pokie venues in the community, and that way they're protecting their community and family members by having the less accessibility to these pokie machines. So it's a huge aspect for our public health team, because we're not just working one-on-one with individuals, but we're working across a collective of people and organisations and services to have a real collective focus on addressing gambling harm at a wide scale level.
And to create awareness as well.
Awareness is a huge thing, and there are a lot of things that we need to take into consideration when we're doing that, but you know, the really big push for us is to ensure that it's for the betterment of people in our communities and their health and wellbeing.
Okay, so how can people get in contact with the Problem Gambling Foundation for that support?
Yep, I'd encourage people to look in and visit our website, which is www.pgfnz.org.nz, or look at our Facebook site, or even better, give us a call on our free phone number, which is 0800 664 262.
So if you're concerned for a loved one or hoping to seek guidance about the harmful effects of gambling, get in touch with the team at the Problem Gambling Foundation today. Conductive Education Pre School in Hamilton is an early intervention provider for children from birth to 6 years who have a neuromotor disorder. Let's head inside and find out about the benefits of their unique learning techniques. Hi Virag, lovely to meet you. Now, first of all, can you tell me a bit about how the conductive education learning techniques are unique?
Yep, no problem. It is unique, first of all, because its origin is from Hungary, so it's not from New Zealand, it comes from a long way away. And also I think it's unique because this is an educational system which is combines therapeutic tools with education. So we can provide a lively learning environment for the children when they enjoy themselves, but at the same time they also cared and looked after, like, depending on their needs.
Okay, and who did Professor Andras Betu design this form of learning for?
Well, originally he was thinking of children who had cerebral palsy. He was thinking to create ways teaching them how to get over their disabilities and how they can include themselves into society. But since the program has been developed quite some times, and there were some times where we could try it for other clients as well, especially on board, now there are studies showing that the program actually benefits for children who have Down syndrome or they have movement disorders due to other different problems. We also had children who had Rett syndrome under our cares, and they thrive beautifully.
Now, how does this form of learning technique benefit children with a neuromotor disorder?
It basically gives opportunities for the children to learn about themselves, to explore the same way as they typically developing peers are doing. And also we are using techniques and purposeful plays, which helps them to experience the normal development ladder. So we basically help the children go through development stages, starting from the floor, rolling over, crawling, and eventually walking.
Well, it sounds like an amazing place for the kids to learn and develop. And tell me a bit about your team here and their experience.
We have a lovely, lovely team. We have been working together for decades now. There is not very many people who come here and want to leave. So we are actually working together more than 10 years. Most of our staff members are here for about 10 years. So we have an early childhood teacher. We also have an early intervention teacher helping the children in their inclusion. We have three lovely Hungarian conductors, and also with quite a broad experience in different fields of the disabilities. We have beautiful support people who are helping our work, and we could not thrive without them. And of course we have our management and administration, and we have the parents who are also part of our facility, and the children. We have a speech and language therapist who is working alongside us. And it's generally quite true that if the children need additional services and we can't provide it for them, we are always seek professionals to have their input, and we carry on with the findings and the goals what they're setting for the children.
Okay, so how can parents and caregivers of children with neuromotor disorders find out more information about your preschool?
Call us immediately if you're needing some help. Have a look at our website, or you can check our Facebook page, or just come by and have a cup of coffee and chat with us. We're more than happy to help.
Great, thank you very much. What a wonderful team who are passionate about giving these kids the best start to life at Conductive Education Pre School in Hamilton. After the break, we take a look at Epilepsy New Zealand and Spectrum Care. See you then. With 13 locations throughout the country, Epilepsy New Zealand offer a wide range of services to help inform and support those affected by this disorder. Let's go inside and find out more. Hi Annie, lovely to meet you. Now I absolutely love all these fun pictures in the background of the Awareness Day, the Purple Day. So tell me a bit about the services that you offer here at Epilepsy New Zealand.
Okay, you know that epilepsy has 13 branches throughout the country, and we have 17 people that do the same role that I do. And our core roles are to provide support, epilepsy support, and epilepsy information to anyone who wants it. That's our core role. And providing support, it means a lot of things to a lot of people, but we're very much there to walk them through whether they've got a specialist appointment to go to, or whether they have to take a child who's been recently diagnosed. we have to take them and just translate what that specialist is saying to them. Just dumb it down, but not the impact of what's happened, but just the language.
Yeah.
And then the education we provide will be for, say, for people who have just been recently diagnosed, also for people that maybe in the caregiving service who work in residential care, or maybe, and they have people who live with epilepsy, or maybe in the community and they go in to provide support. So it's all of that information that we give freely. We don't charge you, there's no cost charges to our services.
Now, who can use these services?
We've got quite a few people that can use it, just like anybody can access, whether it's the website or the 0800 number, anybody can access our service. And you know, it's important that they know that that information's there. It's up to date. I do professional development, so do my colleagues, where we have to keep up to date on what we're seeing really throughout our community on a daily basis. So we're not just using old technology. And that's really important that we do that. We're just not just giving you something that was given out in, say, the 1920s. So isn't that marvellous that we can keep up to date? Yeah. And I think that that's what a person, you know, now needs to know, that we're not just giving them old stuff. Even the language has changed on what we use, and it changed in the 1980s, mid-1980s, and you still get people using things like language like grandmas or my son is an epileptic. They're not. That doesn't identify who that person is.
Okay, so how common is epilepsy, and at what stage in life can it develop?
Epilepsy is not that common, but you've got between 1% and 2% of the population who will develop epilepsy. That sort of relates to maybe 1 to 2 people for every 100 people per head of population. So it's not that common, but epilepsy is the largest neurological disorder that we have in our country anyway. And so to have that percentage of people with epilepsy, it's not just newborns. Epilepsy is more common, the onset, in the younger age groups and the older age groups. So, but in between, it doesn't discount those ones in between who acquire epilepsy through, for instance, playground injuries, sporting injuries, because we're a country of contact sports, and you know, whether concussions are healed before they go, rugby players go back out into the rugby field. You've got to look at all of those sorts of things. Car crashes are another thing where people either don't wear their seatbelts or involved in car crashes. So all of those head injuries or metabolic changes that happen to the brain can also lead to onset of the development of epilepsy.
Okay, so and if there are family members or anyone out there who are looking for support or further information about epilepsy, how can they get in contact?
Oh, great. They can pop onto our website, and that gives you all the information that they'll need wherever they are in the country. There's an 0800 number that is 0800 epilepsy that can be sourced anywhere in the country, and you will meet people like me who provide all that information. If you cannot get onto the website, I look forward to getting your call.
Great, thank you very much. So if you're hoping to discover more about this disorder, whether it be for yourself or a loved one, make sure you have a chat with the support team at Epilepsy New Zealand.
Takanui Hospital was a psychiatric hospital, and I did not like it there at all. I hated it. All I wanted to do is get out of that place and have a life. Closed it down, and that's how I got out of Takanui. But if it wasn't closed down, I'd probably be still in the blooming place.
You know, when she came out of the hospital, she was quite content to let staff, you know, that's your job, and she's quite content to let staff do everything. So it's taken 13 odd years of, you know, no, let's do it together, we'll show you, and then you can do it. Caroline pretty much lives a normal life, just like you, just like me, just like anyone else in the community. And that's our aim at Spectrum, to give people a great life and let them lead really good lives, and she's a living example of what we are preaching, sort of, you know.
I've got my own room and my own cup of tea place downstairs, my own shower and my own toilet. I've got a pour table downstairs where I do my pamphlets on and fold up every morning.
Yeah, our goal was over the years to get her as independent as we possibly could, and we've achieved that.
Well, I've got my job, I've got good staff, I've got good clients. It's not so crowded with 40 or 50 other clients running around causing trouble.
She's actually living what Spectrum wants is a great life, and that's what she's doing, you know.
Yeah, I just like flatting with a bunch of friends. One day me and Brent might be going out for a flat, I don't know, but one day that might happen. It probably is happening now anyway.
When I think about the people that we support in Hamilton, she would be, you know, pretty special, yeah.
We sort of teach them the skills on how to live independently. Things like cooking, you know, their own meal, cleaning up their house, you know, basically taking care of themselves. Well, the guys here, you know, they're very independent. They're very mobile. They get up in the morning, they go to work, catch the bus, you know, and then they come home after work, they catch the bus again to get home.
I walk all the way there.
John Munner's life before he came here, I mean, now that he's living independently and he's got a lot of freedom now than he was before. He goes out to the market every Saturday busking, and he makes his money from that on top of what he gets paid from work.
Shannon is one of my key workers. We are heading towards independent mowing, where the guys will be taken out, Shannon will be taken out to the lawn, and half an hour, 1 hour later, the supervisor will come back and pick him up.
I work hard.
They know how to take care of themselves. They know the process of who to ring in case of an emergency. They know how to dial 111. They know how to ring the on-call. They all know that they're all equal in the house because they have to respect each other, and yeah, it is working, yeah.
Thank you for tuning into our show, and remember, if you or your family are dealing with any of the issues in today's show, make sure that you know each of these businesses are here to help. Have a happy and healthy day. I'm Aimee Forrest, and I'll see you next week. Bye.
This has been an Alpha Media production, a division of Television Media Group.